You know, a lot of comic book fans only stick to the movies or the TV shows, but sometimes I recommend you to check out the comics because they are really good. Case in point, Kraven's Last Hunt. And if you only know Kraven from this monstrosity of a movie, then you're out of luck. Kraven's Last Hunt was written by J.M. DeMatteis back in 1987, and it is honestly one of the more iconic Spider-Man stories, just given the tone and redesign of how we look at Spider-Man, because we all know him as this campy Boy Scout, but this is one where it took more serious. So basically, Kraven is this hunter in the jungle out there. He's basically done it all. He has killed all different kinds of animals, but now he wants one last prey, and that prey is none other than Spider-Man. So he goes to New York and tries to hunt him down, killing him. Matter of fact, he even already makes a tombstone and everything ready for Spider-Man. That's how confident this guy is. And it's kind of cool that you actually get to see like the brilliant plans of stuff that Kraven does. He even goes as far as to even wear a Spider-Man suit just to trick people in the story. And Kraven was really just this out of nowhere character. I mean, in the cartoons, he played such a huge role and he was very awesome in every portrayal possible that you could give him. When we get to the Spectacular Spider-Man, I do have my personal opinions on how they managed him there. But regardless, the story of him just being this gory hunter is just too iconic. So much so that they just did so good with him in 2023 Spider-Man 2 video game, which we'll get to eventually as well. And man, something about this character. He's not my favorite Spider-Man villain. That to me is the Green Goblin. But this one is a pretty damn close. He's definitely in my top 5 for Spider-Man villains. It's just the fact that he's just so like just gory and stuff, and like he's just insane. And the fact that this was all around a time where Peter and MJ had already been married, and it's just a good look at what we do. And then what got me honestly was the cover. It was like this iconic cover of Spider-Man coming out of a tombstone after he was defeated, and it just takes a whole different uh tone. And honestly, by the time this wrapped up, I was like, man, I wanted more of Kraven. But with a character like Kraven, you kind of have to end them right then and there because of how villainous and how insane this character is. He does make appearances from time to time in other comic book stories, but nothing will ever come close to this iconic story. If there were to ever give a negative thing to say about this story, was probably Vermin. He plays a big part of a chunk of the story when Kraven is hunting him down. He even finds Vernon, and Peter has a Spider-Man has a battle with him under the sewers, and which is fitting because he's half man, half rat. But it is a whole. It just kind of like feels like it just needs to fill up a gap at some points, and I don't know, something about Vernon. He just never got to me. That's why I never rarely ever saw him in cartoons or in storylines. So Vermin is just kind of like a whatever villain. It would have been cool if Kraven got to see the lizard. Like maybe he knows Dr. Connors. He finds Dr. Connors to get something. Like that would have been something really cool to do. But they really don't. It would have been cool to see Kraven interact with other villains just to kind of see like, oh, what did you do to stop Spider-Man? But it just never happened. Like I said, Vernon was all we got. Regardless, I think that Kraven, being as confident as he is, trying to beat him. Also, big thing. This was around the time that Spider-Man was the black suited Spider-Man, so this is a more grittier and violent Peter Parker. I mean, and it's fitting because eventually down the road we get to see the origins of Venom, which we will be talking about during this review. Eventually during Spider Month, so stay tuned for the Venom comic coming up later. But honestly, how are you gonna stop a guy like Kraven if you are not the black suited Spider-Man with the symbiote? Just based on how gritty and evil Kraven really is. So I thought that it did a fantastic job. Has a couple of nitpicky things, but what doesn't? So I'll give this comic an A minus. One of the greatest comics in history as far as how it holds up in the aura of Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of the more iconic characters in comic book history, or the most iconic character in comic book history. And Kraven, The Last Hunt, is to many people one of the greatest comic books of all time. I can't argue with it. It is a really good one. Like I said, A minus. Go out of your way and read it. It's a really good one. Next on Spider Month tomorrow, stay tuned for an animated classic, sort of say. But that is Spider Man and His Amazing Friends. Stay tuned for that tomorrow, and I'll see you all later.